everybody. We are back. We missed last week. Matt and I were out of town camping, but we're here. The Mariners still have a chance for the postseason. It's not over. We kind of thought it was over, but there's still a chance. We'll get into that and much more in this week's episode. Hello, everybody. I'm Patrick.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Garrett.
The season isn't over. We thought it would be over. We felt like it could have been over a million times already. Yep. There's still a chance.
It ain't over till it's over. We play 9 innings. We play 162 here in Seattle, and we have to because we squandered our 10, 12 game lead early in the season. And we've been sticking around 500. At least we haven't gone back under 500 and absolutely squandered our season. Things were looking real bad a few weeks ago after, we got swept by the Tigers and the Phillies kicked our ass but things haven't been as bad since then. We were at an all-time low this season, I think, after that point. But once Dan Wilson took the helm, I think things have changed a little bit. Do you guys feel a different energy in the clubhouse?
Mariners are scoring more runs.
And J.P. Crawford was back around that time, and Julio was working his way back into the order. Things seem more settled than they were mid-August. I mean, last year's August was raging hot, and this year's August, complete difference. But, I mean, the Mariners are poised to be hot at the right time, which is something I've been saying for a couple weeks. And I'm still excited. I mean, I still have a lot of hope for this team. It's not that there's a ton of confidence. It's just things have to go right at the right time. It's all about timely hitting for the Mariners.
They really took it down to the very last minute. They couldn't have pushed it much further.
Yeah, and I mean, we're still kind of riding it out to the end of the season. The biggest thing is going to be this Astros series we have coming up. We'll get into that later. But seriously, that is what's going to make or break our season and our chance for the postseason.
Well, let's give our audience an outlook on where we are.
Some context, yeah.
We are at 76 and 73, 3 games over 500, a .510 winning percentage, not quite the 54% we're looking for to sneak over the line into the playoffs yet. We're 4.5 games out of the West behind Houston, and we do have that 3-game series coming up in about a week. It's huge. That's the biggest series we have, but in between then we have the Yankees too. So these games are going to be really important. Luckily, we're taking a couple games here in the series, the current series against the Rangers, who we're going to see again soon too. And the Mariners are better than the Rangers. I think it's obvious now that we're in this series. We should beat
the Rangers.
Team.
Are also missing a Corey Seager.
Sure, but at least we we saw DeGrom and we saw Scherzer. And DeGrom, sure, he only threw 4 innings, but it's always good to win on a day where DeGrom or Scherzer's pitching against you, and that is good news for the Mariners.
I saw it was DeGrom's first start in something like 500 and some odd days. He's been battling injuries. It's a damn shame because DeGrom was one of the best that has ever done it. Was absolutely dominant early in his career with the Mets. And the injury bug caught him. His arm could only be so elite for so long before it started to give out.
The dude went through a complete transformation. He wasn't one of the best pitchers at the beginning of his career, but transformed into one, but then put so much pressure on his arm because he got so whippy and torquey that he was just producing max power rather than going for longevity. And you face the consequences of that.
Yeah.
And I mean, any day DeGrom is on the mound. Good day to get a win for the Mariners, even if it's 5 runs in the 8th inning and a clutch home run by Julio Rodriguez to help go up by 1 run late in the game like that. That's what the Mariners need. And the Mariners have made their way back to being a league average offense. We've been asking for this all year. They have a 100 WRC plus, I think. They're right around the average for what an offense could be in this league. And maybe it's too little too late now that they've made it this far. But it feels good to have a dominant pitching staff and a league average offense.
We also lost Luis Castillo in the last couple of weeks that we didn't get to talk about.
Bummer. That was last week, yeah.
Castillo's on the IL right now. We called up Emerson Hancock again for a spot start. And he did what you expect from a spot starter. I thought he did very well. Got into a little bit of trouble early. I will say I was very, very impressed in just the second inning. He got pieced up for a couple runs in the first. In the second inning, had runners on first and third, 2 outs and it was a 3-0 count, and he battled back and got the strikeout to get out of the inning.
That's
and,
what's
and,
up.
And I mean, from even a spot starter, that is an elite, just even that hitter, that matchup was an elite pitching matchup for that hitter. And it's just crazy that we're so fortunate to even just have a spot starter come up and can just pitch in a big moment like that.
Dude's better than Marco Gonzalez.
Yes.
And honestly, he's not a strikeout pitcher. He's a pitcher that pitches for poor contact the best that he can and gets strikeouts in the situations that he needs it the most. He's not pitching for the strikeout most of the time, but when you need it, you have to. And it's great to see that he can overcome that. He's kind of a steady Eddie, He's not he's never too down on himself or riding the wave of emotion. He's kind of always out there just every pitch, the best pitch he can throw, get the job done. And I like having Emerson as our fifth guy, despite having Castillo go down with a grade 2 hamstring. So he might be a few weeks. He might be able to come back the last week of September. He threw all his bullets early in the season. He's been healthy, and hamstring is something that happens. It just happened to Robbie Ray. I mean, pitchers put a lot into their pitch with their legs, and you don't really realize it. It's not just their arm, but hamstrings can get tight late in the season. But we need Luis. We need him there. But I'm glad we have such a dominant starting staff and Emerson Hancock as our fill-in guy. I mean, he's proven himself all year, and that's the perfect guy to step into that role at the end of the season. So
I want to sing some more praises about our offense and how it has picked up since we've gotten Dan Wilson and Edgar Martinez as our hitting coach. The strikeouts are down.
They are.
The strikeouts are down. And timely hitting. It's not always the big moments, and, we still falter and don't come through every time we would like to. But our runs per game has gone up since Edgar has taken over. We've seen a lot of nice changes. And I think what's really interesting about that is his philosophy, where it was known that the Mariners analytics team was very, very advanced stat heavy, and they were putting all this pressure on our hitters and, thinking about all this advanced statistics and hit the ball as hard as possible and stuff.
71% of the time after a fastball, he throws a slider, but it's going to be down and in because 81% of the time it's down and in against a right-handed hitter. It's dude, this is too much stuff going through your mind when, it just needs to be simplified. And you're right, they have. I think that the analytics department does a good job.
Yep.
But like I've been saying all season, there's a problem between the analytics department and the people between who are supposed to translate that into simple baseball terms to the guys on the field.
Exactly.
Dan Wilson and Edgar Martinez are the perfect kind of guys to be able to translate a bunch of information being thrown at them, ask the right questions, and tell their players what they need to know. J.P. Crawford, it's been about a week or so. He mentioned that we've gotten back to simpler things. It's more see ball, hit ball. It's go with the pitch. It's know your situation and do what you can with the pitch you're given. You can't just think that you've been dealt a better hand than you have. You're in the situation you're in. Play accordingly. And that's the way they've been playing, man. They're playing situational baseball. They're hitting the ball on they're hitting the ball more often. They're not swinging and missing as much. And I think it directly has to do with Edgar and Dan at the helm telling the guys, just play baseball. Just go. You're here for a reason, and taking those advanced things and telling them a simple thing to go get it done on the field. And it's not as hard as it seems. The players need to keep a simple mind, and our coaching staff has not been keeping it simple. And the KISS principle is important, man. Keep it simple, stupid.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's funny, Edgar is focused on batting average, RBIs, on-base percentage, the simple stats that now a lot of people claim are outdated or they're garbage stats or they're not worth anything. Yet Edgar has brought that philosophy, that old school philosophy to the team, and we're seeing direct results at the plate by keeping it simple, by focusing on batting average. And yes, batting average can be flawed and stuff. But one thing I have an issue with is before the Mariners were really, really focused on hard hit rate. You hit the ball really, really hard, it's going to eventually lead to hits. that hard hit stuff is saying, oh, they should possibly get hits eventually. Whereas batting average is telling you who is getting hits right now. And that's a big thing for me. This advanced stats and all this stuff, like it's a lot of hope in it, right? Or like, oh, well, on paper, because he's hitting the ball at 103 miles per hour off the bat, it should lead to more hits than he's getting. And it's like, well, that's great if we're playing a video game or something, but it's not. This is real life. This is baseball. And batting average tells you who's hitting the ball now.
You can hit the ball 103 miles an hour straight at a guy every time. You think you're going to get a hit if you hit it right at him? Maybe 1 out of like 95 tries, you get a hit because the guy like olays the ball, doesn't even touch the ball somehow. But like if you hit it straight at someone, you're going to be out. It doesn't matter how hard you fucking hit the ball, dude. They pitch you a certain way on purpose. They play the field in a certain position on purpose. They know the percentages. They know if we pitch him in, he's going to roll over to third base or shortstop 83% of the time, and if he doesn't, then we tried. We played our 83% chance. And like they know that. You have to really dig in a little bit to understand expected batting average and expected slug is not what actually happens on the field. There's a lot more that goes into that. And you're right, Patrick. It's all about what's happening now, not expected slug on 103 mile an hour exit velocity. And, it's just baseball. There's a whole new statistical side of things where baseball nerds and numbers guys are crunching all these numbers, trying to figure out what should we do? How should we build a lineup? But more and more it becomes expected stats rather than actual stats. And it's hard to discern who's doing well versus like, if you're getting out all the time but hitting the ball hard every time, like, is it good? No, you're getting out. You're not on base. You're not scoring runs. So whatever. If you squib the ball and get an infield hit 3 out of 4 times, it's better than hitting a nuke to the warning track every time. Like I don't know. It's just weird, man. We're in a whole different mindset. And that old school baseball mentality, bringing it back to Dan and Edgar, those guys are reeling it in and making it simple for these players on the field. Playing baseball. Baseball's been baseball forever.
The players have said what they want is a simpler approach, and they've brought a simpler approach. If that means using batting average or whatever the hell they're going to tell these guys, it's going to work. It's working.
Yes.
It's working.
That's what they want. So do it.
Yeah, and we're seeing direct results. And then like certain players are just like playing out of their mind right now. Cal is insane.
Victor Robles.
Victor Robles is one of my favorite players of all time. I've fell in love with him since he's joined the Mariners. He is constantly stealing bases. He's batting over 300 again. He's everywhere. He's a lot of fun. He directly leads to runs all the time just by his speed. Last week I watched him go from first to third on a ground ball to third base.
Oh, yeah.
That is crazy. Like, it was so insane.
Yeah.
Hard hit ball to third.
The third baseman had to move towards the shortstop a little bit,
Yeah.
so no one was covering third.
Yeah, and he just flew second and just went all the way to third on a ground ball to third base. Insane.
He's rounding second base hard on a ground ball to the infield because he knows that if the pitcher's not there, then he can easily sneak in there. And he did, easily.
Yep.
That's what's up. That's baseball IQ, and that's what we need. That dude is fiery, and anytime he's on the bases, he's an absolute nuisance. Everyone has to look at him every pitch to see what's going on.
He's super fun.
That's what we need.
Super fun.
He came in that way too. He didn't come in and need an adjustment period. He came in like, oh, I can make an impact here. Let's fucking go. And he has not stopped.
It's so wild that he got DFA'd by Washington.
I can't believe that. They're making space for their next, their payroll. They can't sign
drafted
him,
him, didn't they?
Yeah.
He was their guy. And they were like, you know what, we're done with you, bro. And he comes here and just plays out of his mind.
Yeah, the Nationals
Amazing.
unfortunately had to sell. Like, they couldn't extend him, and he's towards the end of his arbitration, so they needed to get something back for him because they drafted him mid-2010s, and his rookie year was 2018. So, like, he's reached the end of his arbitration and, like, needed to go somewhere and sign an extension, and we ended up the beneficiaries. I love it. While the Nationals are absolutely tearing it down, trying to rebuild again. So I will take that every day.
I want to say Cal has 30 home runs again this year. Luke Raley, even though he's only played sparingly.
Wait, who? Nuke?
Nuke Raley.
Nuke Raley?
Hit his 20th home run today. A deep blast to center that tied the game. The Mariners were down by 2, and he had a massive 2-run blast.
He got all of that.
And at the end of the game, Mariners won tonight on Saturday with a walk-off by Randy Arozarena. And what do you know? First one out of the dugout to give him a hug, Luke Raley. He's always there. He's a great teammate. I really like what he brings to the team. And honestly, I beef with a lot of guys on the Mariners right now. Luke, I mean, outside of our starting pitching, it's pretty much Luke, Cal, and Robles are, and Julio. Julio's coming around.
Our boy Julio is coming around. He's coming off
JT's
his
still got
injury.
it in him.
He does.
Justin Turner's fun.
He almost got thrown out today. He got called out on strikes on a low slide, a low something. Oh man, I saw the spot. I just came around the corner and looked at the TV, and he's arguing with Bill Miller, the umpire. See, he's too fucking old, bro. That dude's eyes cannot be good. But he was arguing, and because he's had a long relationship with this dude in the league, and he's like trying to. I don't know. He was trying to argue his case. Obviously, nothing's changing, but JT was not happy. Dan almost got thrown out. Manny Acta comes up and grabs his shoulder, like, bro, come on, like, let's go. But luckily, we got that win because JT, man, he was heated.
We saw Justin Turner hit an old man double today into the corner.
Yes,
and
dude.
he slid and belly flopped so hard. It was such a painful slide. And I'm like, oh my God, your old man bones, bro. And they immediately, I mean, it was late in the game anyways. It was like 8th inning. But after he belly flopped, they pulled him for Dylan Moore. And I was like, yeah, get a pinch runner in there. He is hurting. That was probably one of the worst slides I've seen in quite some time.
He barely beat it out too.
And for anyone else in the league, it would have been a no problem stand up double. And but he's hustling.
He's going Ty France speed out there.
He's 40 years old and still, giving it his all. I'm a real big fan of Justin Turner.
Hell yeah. But you're right. Other than a handful of guys on this team, you can beef with almost all of them and be like, come on, please step it up. Even best Mariner.
Yeah.
JP right now is not my favorite.
He's been all right. I mean, he's had a couple doubles. He had a clutch hit the other night, but like he's not been good this year. I mean, his injury really held him back as well, but it wasn't great before that either. He was hitting like 198 before his injury, and he's still doing the same. He had a great year last year. We were hoping for more. Rough year for JP, but I do like that he's back. I do like that he's a staple in our lineup, and I like that we've moved him down to like the 8-hole instead of trying to lead off with him when Victor Robles is the man.
Yes. Right call. That's the right call.
Yeah, and that's what we said a couple weeks ago.
Josh Rojas had an amazing start. We were like, okay, Josh Rojas is on the team. I see you, Josh. Slowed way down.
Oh, yeah.
Good thing he's still a great third baseman.
Made some great plays today.
Yeah, and tonight he almost hit a grand slam. He got a fastball out over the outer part of the plate, and he hit it to left center oppo. Warning track shot. Wyatt Langford ran out there and caught it over his shoulder too. A really good running catch. But like we scored one on it. But dude, I thought he got all of that and was going grand salami. But nah. I mean, Rojas is okay.
Yeah,
he can battle. He can hit a little bit. He plays good defense.
Great defense.
He's
I like
good.
Josh Rojas.
Yes.
Good enough to be in our lineup almost every day. Whereas Jorge Polanco, I mean, I feel like they're kind of the same guy at the plate where like you can get a good result or you can get a bad result. And most of the time it's bad results.
Yeah.
You hope for the best and the timely hitting we need.
With Julio, he is coming around. His average is rising. It's like mid 260s right now, which, I mean, when you think about how low it was before, he's on a nice rise.
I'm getting his last 2 weeks up here, 2 weeks here, because he has been better.
He's been hitting with a little bit more pop recently. But, however, still the criticism, and this has been a constant criticism through his entire career, big players need to make big plays. And he, time and time again, in the clutch, he does not come through. I lost my mind earlier this week. Mariners down by 4 in the bottom of the 7th, down by 4. He comes up, bases loaded, 1 out. Just a smart at bat. Just do something, and he grounds into a double play. I mean, we're not even saying hit a grand slam in this situation, but do something. Get runners across. You need to, if you're a big-time player, you need to make big-time plays. And he came up. That was his opportunity. Grounds into a double play. The night after it comes up, Mariners are down by 1. He's got a runner on, 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. Strikes out on 3 pitches.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
and that has been the constant criticism in his game. I do like that he's turning it around, and
He very much is.
yeah, and the defense and stuff is still great, but man, those clutch situations, it's not in his bag, and he's still young, very young.
Oh, yeah.
Let's hope that he gets that clutch gene someday, but man, it is just not happening right now.
Yeah, it obviously doesn't come naturally to him, so he has to go through his, I guess, growing pains. Which we're hoping they don't continue this year, and they have. The dude clutches up hard when he's in a high pressure situation. You can tell he grips the bat harder, and every time I grip the bat harder, I roll my arm, like my whole arms are tensed up, and you need to be able to stay loose in high pressure situations and just trust your intuition and what you've been doing to get to that high level, right? If you change what you're doing in those high pressure situations, you're not going to get it done, man. You're clutched up, your whole arms are tensed, and he rolls the ball over to third and short constantly. The other team knows this. They pitch him accordingly. And yeah, they pitched him exactly to their liking and got him to ground out, got him to strike out. He's too geared up there, man. He needs to find a way to like center himself before he stands in there in those high pressure situations. And that's easily, you can see it in his posture and his body language. So,
and I want to say tonight's game, a perfect example of what Mariners baseball can be. Bottom of the 9th, tie game. Robles hits a double. On second, steals third.
He's always on second. Steals third. That's clutch.
On second, steals third. And
Had you worried a little bit when he was stepped off the bag and the third baseman noticed and was like, gonna do... But
it was close, but
he made it. It was fine.
he did make it, but it was kind of close.
He's a quick guy.
He is. But
He went back to third really slowly, too. He just kind of like, dude, what are you doing? You're not going to tag me out.
Yeah.
It was very funny. I was laughing, and Patrick's just like,
That's a confident man. He knows his distance. He knows, he's like, okay, they're going to try this. Like, I'm just going to look cool as fuck. Like,
yes.
I know exactly how much time and space I have, which is his game. He's so aware like that.
But Robles' speed directly resulted in us winning this game. Because of his speed, he gets a double. Because of his speed, he steals third. Now, there was 1 out. Now, with a runner on third, the Rangers decide to intentionally walk Julio.
I thought that was crazy.
So they intentionally walked Julio to get to Cal to set up the double play. Cal goes 0-2 immediately, battles back, fouls off a couple pitches, ends up working a walk.
Really good at bat, too.
Yes, fantastic at bat.
He swung through a high fastball. At that point, yeah, it didn't look good. It looked like he was going to get beat by those riding fastballs all day, but no.
Fouled off a couple, worked, took some pitches, got a walk. Now we have bases loaded, and Randy goes quick 0-2. And we're like, oh, man, you can't strike out here. And does inside fastball, does a great job of keeping his hands inside the ball, muscles it out to shortstop. Kind of, it was a rocket to short, and short, it just kind of hit off his glove a little bit, and that's all we needed. Robles scores, and the Mariners win. And that is the Mariners baseball we've been waiting to see for so long. We have the speed, smart at bats, stuff like that is what we need, and that could be a postseason baseball team.
That's Randy's first walk-off for the Mariners.
Thank God. He needed that.
He needed it so bad.
He needed it.
Yep. Well, he got it. He was celebrated like a little kid. It was amazing.
Randy.
Water on his own head.
Yeah. Yeah.
He took the trident and like looked at the crowd and was just like,
I have arrived, finally.
He needed it, man.
He's been wanting to do that for a while, like make that statement. And man, he's here. And Randy's going to be a really big impact on this team if we can extend him, especially. He's here next year, right?
Hope so.
I think so.
And we have Robles already signed through next year.
Our outfield, we talked about it earlier this year. We have the coolest fucking outfield there is.
Yeah, dude.
Randy Arozarena, Julio Rodriguez, and Victor Robles. Let's fucking go every day. Put that outfield out there.
That's so fun.
Also, if I'm being honest, I have completely forgot that Mitch Haniger was on this team.
I was calling for it earlier in the season. Make his ass ride the pine, dude. He can be clutch in pinch hit situations. He's better than most hitters in pinch hit situations. Use him accordingly. Use him when we're hitting against a pitcher he owns in his career, because we know with a track record he sees that guy well. But use him off the bench, man. He's not the guy to be starting every day. I was hoping he played about 120 games this season. I feel like since we picked up Randy, like by the time we picked up Randy, he played 120 games. It's like, dude, this dude's in every game. Stop. He's not that guy anymore. And like, thank God we're not doing that. And Luke Raley, who has been playing a lot more, has been hitting the shit out of the ball. He's one of our best hitters. He's our second best hitter on the season behind Robles. And we've had him all year. So, like, he's been very impactful. I think he needed to play a lot more early this season when Mitch Haniger was out there. And we called it so many times, even against lefties. Fuck it. Put him in there. And it's proving to be effective now.
That was such a big point of frustration for us for weeks.
We've been calling it.
He can hit left-handed.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
He can, if he's seeing the ball well, he can hit any handed pitcher.
They didn't want to do it. They would not let him do it.
I get that his stats are not as good against lefties. He strikes out more, but dude, that power,
3 hits in a game, and you put Dylan Moore in for him.
Yeah.
with that power threat, come the fuck on. Leave him in there.
Also, have you guys noticed, and again, it is a smaller sample size, but since Dan Wilson has become the manager, I have not seen a player have multiple hits in a game and then get pinch hit randomly in the 8th inning.
And we've been pitching Munoz in a tie game in the 9th inning. We did it tonight. I love that. That's what we needed all year long. And we're just folding before the game is over. And now we're not. Now we're in it until it's over, instead of folding our hand at the fucking river. Like,
Right.
it's so dumb.
You know, it also makes me realize, and we saw this earlier in the year when Scott was pulling pitchers early. Logan Gilbert, that game, he was like at 75 pitches in the 7th inning or whatever, and he pulled Logan and all this stuff. It seemed like Scott was always focused on tomorrow instead of the current game. You guys know what I'm saying? So he was pulling Logan early. He was pulling starting pitchers early because we need to save them for the playoffs. He would not pitch Munoz.
It's so stupid. I hate this.
Yeah.
I hate recounting that. We struggled through this whole decision. We were harping on it, trying to be nice about it. It's like, no, dude, we were so right to be like upset about those decisions.
And he wouldn't pitch Munoz in a tie game because, what if we take the lead and then we need him to close it? And then what do you know? We lose the game.
Exactly.
Scott was always like thinking 2 steps ahead instead of focusing on the door right in front of him. He's worried about the stairwell, and he hasn't even opened the door yet. You know, like
Trying to play 4D chess instead of regular old chess.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right, and that's right in line with what you're talking about, the expected stats and how we built a lineup and how we expected to attack a pitcher. We were thinking
How about this?
the
You
future.
can't expect to make the postseason if you don't win games in the regular season.
Live
How's
in
that
the
for
now.
expected stats?
Live in the now, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, all you have is now, and you can only do so much, man. If you're trying to think too far ahead, you're fucked. And I mean, I play pinball. I know I've mentioned it, and it's the same thing. If you're thinking too far ahead, you're like, that shot's gonna feed here. Like, you're already out of your game. You can't make those shots if you're not focused on those shots right now. You're thinking 2 steps ahead, and you fuck yourself mentally. And no, dude, that's not the way baseball works. And baseball is about right now, this moment, this situation. It changes every pitch. And Manny Acta was talking about it today on the radio about how they position every pitch, every hitter. Like, they're in tune, man, and you have to be in tune with the moment to perform your best, and that's what's important. I think the Mariners are getting to that point. They're moving towards that point at the end of the season in September. Finally,
Cutting it super close.
Anyway, I do want to get back to Julio real quick. He's been really good in his last 7 games. He's 10 for 32 with a .313 batting average, .563 slug for over a 900 OPS. Very good. His last 15 games, he has a .344 batting average with about a 1 dot OPS, just under 1 dot OPS. So he has put it together. We love it. We were hoping that when Julio goes, this team goes, and right now is the best time to do that since we haven't yet. Let's catch. Come on, Julio, carry this team. Luckily, we have other players who are performing well as well as our role players too. Things are more stable than they have been, and it's apparent who our biggest hitters are. And Julio, if he can come through in those big situations, would make a big difference. And I think that's the biggest thing because he's quietly put up a really good year again, even though he's been hurt. I mean, not really good, I guess. An average year for being hurt and lacking. He's still a really good player for being 23 years old. He has a lot in the tank, and I hope he can give us some of that gas over this next 2 weeks. We need it.
We do need it.
One thing that's interesting, baseball, there's not a single fully dominant team in the league this year. They're projected that there's not a single team that is going to reach 100 wins this season. Even the Dodgers with their video game unfair Hall of Fame roster.
Star-studded.
Yankees are having a great season. Orioles are having a great season. Phillies started really hot. They've fallen off. And it's the first time, if it holds true and there's not a 100-win team this year, it will be the first time since 2014 not a single team in the league won 100 games. And one thing we were kind of mistaken about, and we always said, we're not going to take the wild card. We have to win the division. The wild card teams in front of us, they're faltering right now. Twins are shitting the bed hard.
We're actually closer to the wild card now than the division, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, a few weeks ago.
That was so far out of the realm of possibility in my mind. Maybe 2 weeks ago.
It's because of how down in the dumps we were.
We were sad, boys.
Yeah.
It was sad boy hours.
It's crazy to me.
We thought the division was our only chance, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But as things have gone on, I mean, Houston keeps winning. They're 80 and 68. The Mariners are 76 and 73. So our chance to catch Houston is slimming. We do have a 3-game series against them, which we've been mentioning for weeks. It's the most important series we have left. But 2.5 games out of the wild card? That's good. I can't believe I can't believe that the Tigers are tied with us for the just under the wild card spot, 76 and 73. But yeah, Minnesota, they're 3-7 in their last 10, 78 and 70. We have a really good chance of sneaking into that third wild card spot before we talk about approaching the division, which is ass backwards from what we thought 3 weeks ago.
Would have never guessed.
I mean, the end of this baseball season is going crazy, and everyone thought the Dodgers, with their ridiculous roster, was going to win 1 billion games. And they've had injury troubles over there in Los Angeles. Their pitching has been hurt, and their hitters have been. Mookie Betts has been crushing. Freddie Freeman.
Mookie was out for a while with a broken finger,
and of course Shohei.
Shohei Ohtani.
And even
talk about Shohei for a sec. Sorry, it's a Shohei minute, guys.
We're entering our Shohei minute.
I mean,
dude's about to have a 50-50 season. What in the hell is going on?
Magic is what's going on.
It's cool, and I hope
baseball god.
I hope he gets it.
Dude, he's gonna. God. There's no doubt in my mind he gets 50-50. There's still a couple weeks of baseball. He's at 47-47, at least.
Yeah. I think he was projected or on track to hit 53-51 or something like that. That's so crazy.
He's so fast. What the hell? That dude steals a base like
I also read an
business.
article. I'll be honest. I read the title of an article.
I saw a headline.
I saw a headline the other day that was Ohtani's not ruled out to pitch in the postseason.
I heard
and
that
I was
too.
Are you kidding me?
I knew you were going to say that. And I heard someone watched him throw a bullpen, and they were like, He looks great. What
58,
the fuck?
59. All right, show him
Could
minutes over.
Probably throw 60 pitches.
Let's
in
show
a
him minutes
game.
over.
But even with Shohei, and it just shows how crazy this baseball season has been this year. So even with Shohei potentially having a 50-50 season, with the Dodgers having so many All-Stars and future Hall of Famers on their roster right now, they are not even going to crack 100 wins this season.
It is crazy.
So
That's very even.
And these last couple weeks of baseball are going to be insane. I know football season has started.
Don't care.
I know there's a lot of other stuff going on, but this is really getting excited. The Mariners still have life. It's not over, and we have huge series coming up. The Yankees series is huge. I mean, the Yankees are also battling between division lead and maybe dropping to a wild card spot with the Orioles.
I know Aaron Judge was on like a 16-game home run drought at least.
Yeah,
so,
I saw Aaron Judge win.
That's good.
70 at bats without hitting a home run, which was the longest home run drought in his career.
That's
Insanity.
insane.
And then he broke it by hitting a grand slam.
Nice.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Good for him.
Well, he's back. Damn it! Right before we play the Yankees. Last year, he came into town, hit 2 home runs, and robbed a homer from us. I was at that game.
Yeah.
It was epic. I don't mind watching Aaron Judge do that because he's a goddamn superhero of baseball. So, if he's healthy and on the field, he is an absolute Hall of Fame, like first ballot Hall of Famer. I hope that he stays healthy, but doesn't do shit against the Mariners this week.
Yes.
yeah, let him slump again.
Yeah, please. But okay, I'm gonna bring us back a little bit. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, remember the road trip that sucked?
Which
Which
one?
one?
It was when we faced Detroit, Pittsburgh, and the Dodgers. Right? We lost. We got swept by Detroit. Lost 2 out of 3 to Pittsburgh, and got swept by the Dodgers.
That
We
does
thought the
suck.
season
That
was
was-
over. But since then, we took 2 out of 3 from San Francisco at home. We took 2 out of 3 from Tampa Bay at home, where we play our best baseball. On the road again, just can't wait to get on the road
again.
Anyway, we took we lost 2 out of 3 to the Angels on the road there.
That was, and then I thought the season was over again.
That hurt bad. Yeah, so we kept in this wave, right? Then we split with Oakland, a 4-game series, 2-2.
Ooh.
And we're gaining momentum coming out of that. Honestly, we scored 16 runs in the 3rd game and 6 runs in the 4th game of that series. We were coming out of it hot.
Quick side note on that Oakland series, too. Cal did everything he could to help the Mariners in that series. 3 of the 4 games, he had 2 RBIs in the 1st inning. 2 of the games, he hit a 2-run home run in the 1st. And in the 3rd game, he hit a 2-run double in the 1st. So 3 of the 4 games, Mariners up 2-0 in the 1st inning by Cal Raleigh. And we
Mariners.
still split the series with him, which was rough.
Instant Mariners legend. I'm pretty sure he's about to pass Dan Wilson if he didn't on Mariners catcher home runs or something like that. Like he's in his like 3rd or 4th year and he's already like breaking into franchise records for catchers. It's insane. But either way, Cal Raleigh, sign him the fuck up. I don't
Give him
care-
whatever he
I don't
wants.
care if Scott Boras is his agent. Sign him up before we reach ARB 2, ARB 3. Like, get him here on our team. Do you think we're going to sign up Cal?
We
have to,
I will
right?
be devastated.
I'm gonna be very
Him and
sad
Logan
if we
are
don't.
the first guys we should sign up for the next 5-6 years at least.
I agree with you.
Yes.
We split the series against Oakland. It sucked.
I think there is a world where we don't sign Cal.
Oh,
And
don't say it.
I
knew
know
you were
it's
gonna
gonna
say that.
It's gonna
I
be
wanted to move
super
on.
super brutal.
I'm sad about it already
Yeah.
But
because I see that future.
I think chances are in our favor that we do.
I think so too.
I mean, I hope so. But we need to win. Cal is too good of a player. And honestly, you can just tell, like, he wants to win baseball. His loyalty is to being on a winning team, not to the Seattle Mariners. And that's totally his right. I mean, he has every right to feel that way. You know, of course, we want to believe that every player comes here and they love us and they want to play here. But Cal, that is not in Cal's cards. If we want to keep Cal, there's 2 things we need to do. We need to sign him and pay him a bunch of money because he deserves it. And two, the Mariners have to win before the contract talks even come up.
Yeah.
Because even if we offer him $1 billion, he wants to win. If the Mariners aren't winning, he's not going to take that contract and waste an entire career in Seattle. It's not going to happen.
That dude is a dog for baseball. Like, he is it doesn't matter what uniform he's in. Like, I can see straight through the uniform he's in and see what you're saying, Patrick. He's about winning baseball games.
Dude gets paid less than $1 million a year, and he puts his body on the line every single day, takes an absolute beating,
He gets the
does
shit
everything
kicked
he
out of
can
him.
to help the team.
Yeah.
And very little to show for it from our organization. So
Yeah.
you're exactly right. We have to win, and we have to give him whatever he wants.
Yeah, give him a reason to stay
Yeah.
first, for sure.
Maybe Dan Wilson will sway us a
I
little
think
bit.
that helps a lot, honestly.
Get us a little bit more in our favor.
I
Wouldn't
hope
that be awesome?
Yeah.
I hope that because our manager has not.
I hope that.
I
hope
hope
that.
that, guys. Yeah, our manager has not been the guy to be able to sway the front office like that. He's been their like just puppet on on strings. Dan Wilson, I don't think is a puppet on strings. I think he pulls strings. He has weight in the Mariners culture in the front office. I think that
I meant
dude-
just like his relationship with Cal.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, that'll
like
help a
being
lot.
catcher and
Yeah.
being a Seattle catcher and being like,
would make Cal want to stay a little bit more than if it was just some guy as our manager.
I'd
Right.
hope so. I honestly still think, or I hope that we go for a different manager in the offseason. I don't think we're gonna get one, but I would hope that we're shopping. I know
You'd
that
think they would try.
I know
who
that
knows,
that's
man.
not the word so far. It's just Dan Wilson is the guy, but
Yep.
it's like, are we not gonna shop? Like, can we not get a guy or like I
don't
get
know.
but Dan Wilson's good so far.
I'm going to interject on that, though. So, I mean, let's say the Mariners make the postseason this year. Let's say, because the Mariners, obviously, they fell all the way to 500 when they fired Scott, hired Dan. Now we're 3 games over 500 again. We still have a little bit of struggles, but if Dan gets us into the postseason, why should we look for another manager? Why should we be like, oh, well, there might be someone else out there? If we have a guy that could come and take us from the bottom, I mean, not the bottom, but like from the depths and get us into the postseason, why should we look for another manager in the offseason? That's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, no, I get that. I just mean a guy with more experience because Dan Wilson is brand new, like no managerial experience.
Hey, man, everyone's got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
I agree. I hope he brings us into the playoffs and
Yeah.
performs well under pressure and makes the right decisions and has the right energy at the right time. And it seems like he does. I'm not saying he doesn't,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like I would be expecting that we're shopping around for a guy who has a ton of experience this offseason. But I'm happy with Dan. Don't get me wrong. And I know it's the 25th year anniversary of the 1995 Mariners next year. So, like, it makes sense to keep Dan and Edgar around at least next year. And momentum is moving in the Mariners' direction. Maybe.
There was a question mark at the end of that.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't say it boldly.
Well, let's not be like Scott Service and think 2 steps ahead when we're not. We need to, tomorrow afternoon game, we have to take this series
You're
against
right.
Texas.
Let me keep wrapping up our we split with Oakland. We won the series against St. Louis at the end of our road trip, 2 games out of 3. We split the 2-game series with San Diego at home. And now we're in this Texas series where we're up 2-1 in a 4-game series.
That's
so
my fault.
Oh no, you're good. So
Yeah.
you're right. We have to take this game tomorrow
Yes.
to win the series. I don't want to split the series against Texas.
Right.
We need that win. We need every win. How many games are left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that's 6 more. So 13 games left after tonight. That's nothing.
Oh my God, we're in
boys.
the nitty gritty, boys.
It's
Yankees.
really getting down to the very last second.
Yankees, Rangers, Astros,
And then Oakland.
Oakland Athletics.
Damn.
So
Wow.
we get those last 3 games against Oakland to really prove it, but Houston is where it really matters. New York and Houston are the big series. We've been saying it, and we have to win, man. The Yankees pitching at our stadium, or the Yankees hitting at our stadium, is not as potent as it is in Yankee Stadium. So
That's
can
because
neutralize
our right field fence isn't 75 feet away from home plate. Their glorified little league ass stadium.
the way the Mariners pitch at home, I think we can neutralize some of the Yankees hitting as long as we pitch around the right guys. Juan Soto.
Also, I am generally like a very positive person, just in life in general, and I have to have a positive outlook with being a Mariners fan for so long, or else I would have gone insane years ago.
We're all on the train together, buddy. Let's ride it.
However, being realistic for a second, I cannot tell you, it's happened maybe 4-5 times in my life where the Mariners' last game of the season is at home and they need to win to make the playoffs and they lose. I've seen it happen time and time again. I watched it against the Angels. What was this? Maybe like 2019, I believe. We just need to win the final game of the season and the Mariners are in the playoffs. And we started Tyler Anderson, and the first pitch of the game, Shohei Ohtani hit it 763 feet. It broke the glass of the Hit It Here Cafe, sent shrapnel everywhere. And
But lefty.
And I was just like, oh my God.
Yep.
And so I'm like preparing that the final game 162 at home against Oakland, the Mariners need to win it to make the postseason, and they shit the bed like they've done so many times in the past. I hope that's not the case, and at least it makes watching or like making it to 162 reasonable. The season isn't over. We're not mathematically eliminated. These games,
Not even close.
All still matter very, very much, and so it makes for exciting baseball. But I'm ready to be hurt again.
Yeah. We've made it this far in the season. We're all kind of fatigued, right? It's a long season for fans as well as the players. But
Dude, I straight up skipped the Cardinals series, and I'm glad I did.
yeah. I mean, we won 2 out of 3 of those games, which is nice.
Sounded painful. I didn't want to be
We
there.
scored.
I needed a
We
break.
scored 16 runs, and they only scored 7. So like we kicked their ass, but
All right.
it didn't seem like it.
Well,
but
I needed it.
we all needed a breather at some point. We went camping this last weekend. We all needed a breather, but we're here. I think we're in. And I'm carrying the torch, man. I have hope. I have hope. Do you guys think the Mariners are even close to like winning this thing? Is this a coin flip, or is this more than a coin flip that they're going to be in the playoffs?
I have hope, but it is a coin flip.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I have hope, but not confidence, right? Like,
Okay.
I'm very hopeful, which is the life of a Mariners fan.
I mean,
have hope. Like, what is it? Hope for the best and prepare for the worst. That's where we are.
Yeah.
It's more of a hope for the best, expect the worst for
Yeah.
us. We just assume the worst is going to happen. But you never know. You got to play 162. You got to play 9 innings.
It's true. Who's going to be the most impactful player in the Yankees series before we go on the road against Texas and Houston?
You know, I actually love that question because we have brought this topic up numerous times over the season especially in series that the Mariners have lost, where a player has taken over the series. That happened when we played the Yankees earlier this year, where Juan Soto and Aaron Judge took over the series. And
Completely.
We've seen it happen against the Angels with Mickey Moniak.
Oh my God, Mickey.
Goddamn Mickey Moniak.
What a fucking baller.
taking over the series and single-handedly playing a role in the Mariners losing. So what we need in this Yankees series is for a player, 2 players to take over the entire series.
I got one.
Who you got?
I'm going to say the obvious one.
Is it Victor Robles?
It's Victor fucking Robles.
Yeah.
That guy's electric. He's going to be an impact player in every series we have coming up. And he's going to be the guy that leads this charge, man. He's going to spark our offense and get things going, fuck with the Yankees, and steal 2 bases, hit some doubles. Dude is a menace. I want him out there. That dude. Yeah, Victor, number 1. Who else?
Cal
Cal Raleigh.
Cal
Is
needs
it-
to come up.
Is it clutch hitting for Cal that gets it done?
I think it's gonna be fifth and sixth inning home runs, middle of the game home runs, something big. It's not gonna be the glorious walk off with the game. He's gonna if we are to take this series, I'm expecting big things from the middle innings of Cal. Something to completely give our starting pitcher a little bit more breathing room and make it easier on our bullpen, which has been up and down lately. It was down for a little bit. We've noticed a little bit more bullpen work recently. Snyder, Taylor.
Taylor. We haven't even mentioned Taylor on our podcast this whole year. Troy Taylor has been really good. I mean, he came out of nowhere. He had 0 major league experience before he got called up this year and has been pretty
that dude
nails.
Pitches with some intensity.
Colin
too.
Snyder does too. Those dudes have some zip on their ball where like the batters just seem like they're that half step behind every time they pitch. So I really like our random guys that have stepped up while Jimmy Garcia also went on the IL.
And we thought that move was going to be huge.
It was huge. it was huge.
Huge for our medical staff because they've been taking care of him since he's gotten here.
And other dude that was injured and came to play.
Santos.
Santos played like 3 games.
We
and
needed
then
him
sucked.
too.
See ya.
Sucked the whole time.
Yeah.
He's a 100% effort kind of guy. He throws every pitch with all of his
Now he's a 100%
ferocity.
injured kind of guy.
Yeah.
I did see Taylor today though. I saw him throw. His slider was nasty today.
So
it was
good.
biting hard. And I watched him throw 83 mile per hour slider, 84 mile per hour slider, 84 mile per hour slider, 83 mile per hour slider, 98 mile per hour fastball,
Yeah.
kind of up and in on the guy too. Not even enough to like dust him back, but from just all those breaking balls going low, biting, and then 98 kind of up in at your chest a little bit.
Hello.
Like, yeah, and it looks so much faster. I mean, even you're a professional hitter, you're trained and practice all of this. If you are seeing 4 or 5 pitches in a row at low 80s and then 98 is coming right at your chest,
That's insane.
That shit looks like it's 198 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Because you've just seen so many slow pitches
It's
in a row.
scary.
Yeah.
Especially because that's tailing back towards right-handed hitters a little bit. Even a four-seamer is riding back that way because of arm angle. But, like, yeah, I mean, most guys that throw 98 miles an hour fastball have like a 88 mile an hour slider, but he throws that slow slider and gets it to fucking move.
It bites hard.
Yeah. So that is what we need, man. That's the type of pitch mix that is dominant. I mean, as long as he has confidence in his stuff, he's going to be a really big part of this bullpen for the rest of the season.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think we've talked enough about Brian Wu this season.
We have not.
I'm glad you brought it up.
That's a guy who has quietly been one of the best pitchers.
And one of the things that has kind of flown him under the radar is the lack of innings pitched. He missed some time with some injuries, and because his pitch count was so limited, especially during Scott's time, that has also played a role with him just quietly being one of the best pitchers in baseball.
Right?
But
it seems like they've taken the training wheels off now.
Yes, I agree.
They're letting him pitch games.
Yes.
Now that we're back from injury, he's been building up, and he's finally able to, without having a problem with arm stuff or whatever excuse they wanted to make for not building him up early in the season. And maybe they're not excuses. Maybe he actually did have some things holding him back. At least, like I've said, we've saved the bullets for late in the season when we need it most. Luis Castillo went down, so it's more important than ever to have Brian Wu in the rotation. And dude is dealing.
Yes.
He's, the third best ERA for any Mariners starter in franchise history, behind Felix Hernandez and Randy Johnson, through the amount of starts he's had, which is like 18 or 20-ish starts or whatever it is. Dude is absolute nails. I'm worried about him all the time because of his history with injury and his Tommy John history. But goddamn, is he dominant. That dude can place the ball where he wants with authority. And I love watching that guy pitch. I'm just wincing every time he pitches, like, please not this pitch. Don't hurt your elbow. Don't hurt your elbow. But every pitch is so nasty, and he does it with ease. It looks easy for him to do that.
Also, you know what's interesting about Brian Wu is he was not a high draft pick. He kind of flew under the radar in college, in the draft. And the reason why the Mariners picked him when so many teams just kind of slept on him is that it's just apparently his release point is like at just like such an odd angle that people aren't used to it. And he has elite stuff. I mean, you can have someone be a submarine pitcher or a straight sidearm pitcher, and that is a weird arm slot. But if you don't have elite stuff, it will take one at bat before you're like, oh, the arm slot is different, but his stuff is subpar, so I can still hit the shit out of it. Brian Wu has an interesting arm release point and has elite dominant stuff, and we are seeing it. I mean, his ERA this year, 2.38.
Sick.
Oh my God. That's insane.
Sick.
Anything sub 250 over like 20 starts is dominant. That's so good. And like, it's not like he walks a ton of guys. It's not like he's pitching for the strikeout.
Nope.
He's just doing what is necessary in this situation and using the pitches that he needs to get outs. He's not like Luis Castillo, who's just throwing the ball all over up there, trying to use his best stuff to get the strikeout. It's like he's very cerebral and uses his tools accordingly. And him and Cal work together so well.
Hell
Cal's
yeah.
so smart back there.
And you know me, I don't usually read off a ton of stats. I kind of let you guys do the stat reading.
Hit us with some.
I've got some interesting Brian Wu stats right here. This year he has pitched in 19 games. He has pitched in 19 games, 105 innings. So the innings they're picking up more, but they were limited early on. In those 105 innings, he has given up only 28 earned runs. 105 innings and 2/3, 28 earned runs, 82 strikeouts. He's only walked 10 batters this entire season.
We think George Kirby's good at that. Look at Logan Gilbert's stats. Look at Brian Wu's stats. I mean, Miller might walk a few more guys. Castillo is going to walk more than Miller even. But, like, all of our guys are strikeout to walk ratio heavy. We do not walk guys. We challenge guys in the zone. And that's something that is a product of our entire minor league system, too. Like, all they do is throw your best shit in the zone and compete with the hitters up there because they need to hit that. Like, good luck hitting this, is kind of the idea.
Also, I'm looking at his numbers between last year and this year, and this is kind of interesting, just going by this raw numbers here. It looks like he also changed some of his pitching style, because last year, 87 2/3 innings pitched. He had 93 strikeouts, but 31 walks. This year, 105 2/3 innings pitched, less strikeouts, and significantly less walks. So he's not attacking the zone trying to get strikeouts. Strikeouts will come naturally, but he is pitching to weak contact.
Yep.
He is fooling hitters, and they're swinging out of their shoes, and they can't connect with him. And he's not giving any free bases. Oh my God, almost 106 innings and only 10 walks is crazy.
That is crazy.
What he does best is mix his two fastballs. And that's not the combo you're like, oh, he mixes his... It's usually a fastball and an off-speed pitch that a pitcher mixes well. But when you're talking about Wu, it's like he mixes his two fastballs really well and then uses his hammer curveball. It's like, good fucking luck hitting that two-seamer. That thing moves like 18, 20 inches every time he throws it. Like, you think a four-seam's coming and that thing's just like taking a right turn, like... Dude, that he's dominant. The way that he has that stuff, but then he also he's able to dial it into a spot. Like Castillo can't dial it into a spot like that. And Wu is precise, dude. Every time you watch him pitch, you're like, holy cat. Like, just watch him throw the ball. Don't even watch where the ball goes. And It's something else, dude. He's special.
His last start, he was against the San Diego Padres. He was perfect into the 7th inning.
6 1/3, perfect.
Oh, man. And unfortunately enough, his first hit, first base runner, first run, it all came on a solo shot from Fernando Tatis. So into the 7th inning, 1 out into the 7th.
And he hit it straight down the line at like 115 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It could have gone foul. It could have stayed fair. But, dude, good swing on that pitch, honestly, by Fernando.
But that is so unfortunate to be perfect into the 7th inning and you lose. Perfect game, no hitter, and shutout, all with one swing of the bat. But again, the Mariners' offense was coming through in that game. They already had, at that point, it was 5-0. So 5-run cushion. Solo shot means absolutely nothing at that point. And, I mean, Wu was dealing that game.
Luke Raley, Cal Raleigh, J.P. Crawford with multiple hits in that game, helping us out. That's how you win, man. You pitch well, you hit well. And then that was the formula in that Padres series. George Kirby. I just want to bring up George Kirby. My mind is wandering over there because his last month
and a half now,
since the beginning of August, he's had like 2 decent starts. Not good, decent starts where he's given up like 2 runs over 5 and 6 innings. Like all the other ones have been ass. so ass, dude. Like I think he threw his best innings early. He's getting tired. He's made every start. The more, and for him, like we've talked about, it's all, his stuff isn't elite on any one of his pitches, but he has 5 pitches. It's about his location. It's about how well he can place his location and play a chess game. It's not about overpowering a hitter like Logan and like Wu have got going. Even Miller with his fastball. They each have an elite pitch to like strike guys out with. When Kirby can't do that, he's leaving pitches over the middle of the plate because that's what he does best, is throw strikes. But if his stuff isn't that good and his location isn't on the edges, he's going to get beat up. He has over a 6 ERA for the last 8 starts.
Well, and we've talked all season, even when he was pitching really well at the beginning of the season, teams started to figure out that he always wants to throw the first pitch strike, and they were jumping on the first pitch, and they were making him pay for it.
The ball's in his court now. It's like he serves, and like, yeah, if you're one step ahead of someone's serve, you're gonna own them all day, and you have to make an adjustment. And he hasn't been able to. I don't know if it's about doesn't have the energy. But
Scott somewhere right now is like, "You're welcome."
But the dude,
I saved Brian Wu for the postseason.
Yeah, that's for real. Thank you, Scott, honestly, for saving those bullets. We needed it. And I just want to say, Bryce Miller has quietly been getting it done all year as well. That dude pitches for the strikeout. He's got one of the most elite fastballs on our team, and goddamn does he rip that thing. He doesn't have 2 fastballs like Wu does to work with, but that 4 seems good enough for him. He's worked on his split finger, which has been essential for his pitch makes, as well as Gilbert has gotten rid of his changeup and gone straight fork ball, if you want to call it that. The split finger fastball has been huge for the Mariners staff. And our entire staff has been amazing. Yes. Bryce Miller has followed in the tracks of Gilbert and Kirby and developing his game just the way they did. I have no doubts that Bryce Miller is just going to be what he is now and better in the future. So I'm really happy with what the Mariners have built in-house. We'll see who they sign up. I want Cal Raleigh and I want Logan Gilbert signed up.
Me too.
We can trade Kirby. That's fine. As long as we get some offense in here, because we can develop pitching. It's very obvious. But like
Castillo.
Without Castillo,
we
he'll
can
be
trade
back next year.
Castillo.
We can trade Castillo. Yeah.
We could trade Castillo.
He makes the most money.
Also,
True. Very
huge,
good point. That's an off-season point we should really talk about. Yeah.
Well, a huge thing, too, is if we sign Cal, we should realistically trade Harry Ford. I mean,
that's big.
Harry Ford's path to the majors will be blocked by Cal. And if we sign Cal, We can trade Harry, who is one of the top prospects in baseball and could potentially be great. However, I don't want to get rid of someone that is already great in the hopes that the next guy up will be great too.
Yeah, forget that lotto ticket. We already have a winner.
Yes. And speaking of
That's so funny, having a winning lottery ticket and being like, I'm going to buy another.
Actually,
I bet
this one's going to win
throw
better.
it away. You're like, I bet the next one will actually win more money.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. I really
Yeah.
think we should sign up Cal and trade Harry, but it's at this point it seems like a toss-up because the front office has decided to keep our man Jerry Dipoto as the president of baseball operations, and Justin Hollander is still the GM in there. So they're not going anywhere, and hopefully we decide to spend more money because. Or like open the checkbook a bit and give Dipoto more to work with, because I can trust Dipoto, but we know that he hasn't had the budget that he needs to work within to do the work that we need to do to build an actually like winning team, a team that's expected to win, not just like maybe.
Speaking of other guys we could get rid of, how about Dominic Canzone?
Yeah. Hey.
We have now expanded the rosters in September, and Canzone didn't make the call up to get called back to the Major League squad.
It's true. He got sent down. He's stayed there. Apparently he's hitting well down there, but that doesn't necessarily translate to the Major League level where we've seen him hit under 200, strike out a lot.
Is he playing center field?
Probably right field. I mean, I couldn't see the dude playing center field. Maybe, but I doubt it. He's a corner outfielder. He's not a center fielder.
Yep.
But, I mean, a left-handed bat with pop for sure. He tried to come into this season with a little more muscle than he did the year before. When he connects with the ball, it looks great, but he swings and misses a lot. It seems like he's out there guessing at what pitch is coming up there. He's trying to guess the pitch and take advantage of it, but looks stupid when he misses. So a lot of sliders down and in from right-handers. He just whiffs right through, looks dumb. He needs to get smarter. He needs to get smarter because he can when he hits the ball, it looks good, but he needs to hit the ball with consistency, or else he's not going to be useful on any major league team.
Sounds like Dom can't zone.
Got him.
Ooh, ouch.
And
That
also,
sucks. I shouldn't have said that.
That doesn't suck. It's true.
it would have been better if he was like a pitcher that was walking a bunch of guys, but can't hit in the zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude's having
Yeah.
issues at the plate, which I wanted him to take a step forward this year and be an impact player on our roster. We don't need it at this point.
Nope.
And also, I really do not care how well someone hits in AAA when it doesn't translate to the Major League level. We learned that from Mike Zunino. Every time we sent Zunino down to Tacoma, he absolutely raked. He was crushing the ball. And we'd be like, oh, he's hitting the ball hard down there. Let's bring him back up. And Zunino in 2 with a strikeout, strikes again.
I got another guy that did the same.
Can I guess who it was?
Yeah.
Jared Kelenic.
Yeah, Jared Kelenic.
Yeah, dude.
Same thing. Crushes AAA pitching. Comes up to the majors, strikes out at 33%. And, can't get it done in the major situations. Same thing.
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, 3A players, man. It's hard to make that jump to the highest level. And it is easy to be at the crux of being one of the best players, right? Like the major league level is such a small percentage of all baseball players. And to make it to that point where you're just trying to get into the 0.1% of players is ridiculous. And I know, like I keep saying, I play pinball, and I'm getting into that point where I'm close to getting over into another league, another level of play, but I can tell that grind is going to take a long time. Like those
Then
players
you get there and you get your ass kicked.
yeah, dude.
You're like, oh, the big boys.
Like
up here.
I am at that 3A level right now, so I know how that feels, and it sucks. But you have to be confident in yourself, and those guys, you can't get down on yourself. We saw Kelenic do that.
Yes.
Canzone, hopefully he can work it out, but it's all a mental game at that point because how good you are. You need to trust in yourself, and it's a big. I think there should be a lot more mental game type stuff at that level of the game where you need to be confident, you need to be calm, And to perform your best, you need to have the mental state because you've physically done it to that point. And I think that's something that's missing in our game right now.
Cal Raleigh's got it. I mean,
dude.
watching him work that walk today, I was like, dude is chilling up there.
Absolute leader in the clubhouse and on the field, by example and behind the scenes.
I still love that video. I believe it was from last season. Matt Brash is shaking off Cal, and Cal does a mound visit, and Matt Brash is not allowed to say a word, and Cal just straight up tells me, "You're the only one on this team that fucking shakes me off. You call what, or you throw what I call. I tell you to throw a pitch, you throw it. Now listen to me and throw the damn ball." And then he just turns around and walks back out.
Like,
and
let's go get him, bud.
Yeah.
You fucking idiot. Like,
don't shake me off, bro. And
see
that's
these fingers? That's what we're throwing.
And that's the leader that you need from your catcher. And Cal's got it. Cal has come up clutch time and time again. And it doesn't even have to be in the ninth inning. So, like I talked about earlier, the Oakland series was very important. And 3 2 RBI games in the first inning, like, you know, he comes through. He's clutch. And we need him for 1 billion years. He needs to retire a Seattle Mariner. He's going to have a statue put outside. It's going to be near Edgar and Griffey.
We're going to have to win games.
We're going to have to win games. None of this will matter if we don't win.
Cal, Big Dumper Raleigh. I love it, man.
Yeah.
That's so Seattle, too. He has the vibe for us, man. Like,
on the corner
this
of Big
is it.
Dumper and Dave. Dude,
So
just park
good.
on Big Dumper Avenue.
I'm down Big Dumper by the tracks, bro. Like, come meet me. Well, hopefully we can get to a couple more games before the end of the season. I do want to hit another game. I haven't been to many this year. We've been busy. Things have been different. I haven't been willing to support the Mariners front office the way they've been treating fans. My family and other decades-long Mariners invested families and fans, I haven't necessarily been on the best terms with buying Mariners tickets and seeing games in person. I love the Mariners, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. It hasn't been my best year about getting out to the park and spending money there because of...
Completely understandable.
It's hard to spend a lot of money when the product on the field is subpar. And I've spent... I mean, I don't even know how many tens of thousands of dollars in my life through season tickets, through beer sales, and hot dogs, merch.
You're heavily invested. It's a lifetime of investment.
Yeah, and it is hard to keep, like, you know, the sunken cost fallacy where like, oh, if I just keep
the next one's gonna hit.
The next one, yeah, and. So I understand a lot of people's frustration when not wanting to continue to financially support the Mariners when they aren't supporting our happiness by winning games.
Not to mention their statements in the beginning of the season, mid-season, when they actually the front off John and DePoto on camera talk about their goals and their, like, you can see straight through their facade, man. They're saying everything that's scripted. They know what questions are coming from Sylvie on King 5. Like, that, it's bullshit. What they say is bullshit. And if you pay attention, you read straight between the lines, and they're trying to say that they want to win a championship, but they're speaking out both sides of their mouth, man. Like, they're bullshit. I hate that. I hate John Stanton. Every time he talks to the public, he puts his foot straight in his mouth because he has no charisma. If anybody talks to anybody ever, you see that he's lying straight to your face. So I'm tired of that, man. If they don't open the checkbook and DePoto doesn't have more to work with, like I said, I trust DePoto to make the moves we need to make to have a winning team on the field at this point.
Come up with the money to let him do that.
$20-40 million more to do it, and then he can make the moves necessary.
Yeah,
and
man.
I hope that the Blue Jays don't sign Vlad. I mean, it's the end of the season. I mean, they haven't extended him yet, so it seems like he might be available in the offseason. I think the Mariners go hard for him if he is available, and I want that. I want Vladimir Guerrero Jr. joining our ranks in Seattle. That would put me over the edge, at least.
Randy, Vlad, Julio.
Well, again,
I could die happy.
let's not get too ahead of ourselves. First, we got to focus on taking the series, not splitting against Texas on Sunday.
Must.
And
Yes.
the Yankees series, Rangers again, and then the Astros. I mean, that is going to be the series of the season, and that will decide. That will pretty much decide what the Mariners' playoff chances are.
It takes place in Houston, where the Mariners have more of a chance to smack some homers and put them in the Crawford boxes.
Mm-hmm. We gotta play Texas again.
Yes.
Ah.
I'm more confident
Let's
in
win
our
tomorrow.
offense in
Yes.
Houston.
Not split.
Not split.
Play the Yankees. Go back to playing the Rangers. Beat them again. And
The
then
Rangers
go
are
into
good.
Houston riding high.
The Mariners are better than the Rangers. These are important games. We win Sunday. Whoa. We win Sunday. We have the Yankees at home, which is important, but we do go to Houston to play the last series. I don't know. I don't think that's much of a home field advantage for them, to be honest. I think the Mariners can neutralize their hitting in their stadium and hit better than they do at home. The Mariners have played more games in their stadium than we have like anywhere else in the last few years. Like, we're comfortable there. Do you think the fans there are going to make it tough for us? Do you think they're going to be absolutely screaming at the top of their lungs?
I mean, probably Houston fans don't like us very much.
True.
Which is fine because the feeling is mutual.
The last game I went to, Houston Astros game, Mariners won. But at the same time, Houston fans, not necessarily my favorite. There was one guy that was, after the game, was like, respect. He was like, yeah. He's like, we're all good. And I was like, yeah, we're all good. He was like walking by us, like I wasn't even talking to him, but he's like, respect. It's like, we're good. I'm like, yeah, of course we're good, dude. You're a fucking Houston fan in Seattle. You better be good right now, you dumbass.
You better be
Yeah,
on your
you
best
tell him.
behavior.
But
You tell him, Matt.
he was giving me respect as a Mariners fan outside of the stadium, so I do appreciate that. Even though I did almost get in a fight defending Patrick one time. Not defending, but some dude was trying to put his jersey in Patrick's face one time after the Astros obliterated the Mariners. And I told the dude to fuck off, dude.
That was a couple years ago. One interesting thing.
I had some words for that.
So
man.
I've had good and bad interactions with Houston fans. I like when they're at our stadium. It makes things interesting.
One last kind of nice thing to close this episode out. The Mariners do have an at-home rest day. So after the Texas series tomorrow, Monday, at home, day off, which is huge for the team. It's always huge when, one, they just get a day off in general because the season is so grueling, and two, when the day off is not a travel day.
Yeah.
So they are going to be at home. They can do whatever they want. They can relax, unwind, and then they have this giant series at home against New York before they start their road trip. When we are on our next episode, we will be in the middle of the road trip in Texas, and we'll have all the news about the Yankees series, and hopefully it's positive. We're in the nitty-gritty, boys. Each one of these games matters more than the last one, and the Mariners have to win.
Best Mariner, J.P. Crawford, impact bat in the Yankees series. Just calling it now. I forgot about Best Mariner, but he's the guy. He's going to be a big factor in this series here coming up.
Well, let's hope for the best. Hopefully when we're back here next week, we'll have happy news instead of having all our eggs in one basket and putting it all on the Houston series.
Either way, it's going to be dramatic. Make it or not.
It is going to be dramatic.
Strap in, buckle up. The next few weeks of baseball are going to be fun.
It's going to be crazy. We're really excited about it, and hopefully they keep us excited instead of through waves of depression they put us in so well.
I'm catching a third wind this season, boys.
Yeah.
This is it. Get hot at the right time.
Well, thank you all so much for listening. We'll be back next week when the Mariners are in Texas. Thank you all, and
Go